Guys, I want to welcome you to this webinar. I've essentially been hyping this webinar up for about a week now, and my promise to you is that I'm not going to disappoint. All of you on the webinar, I can see about 250 so far. We have somewhere around 500 or 600 registered, so we have quite a few still coming on the line. I can see a lot of you coming on now, so that's great. You're going to get a lot out of this webinar, and for those of you in the License Rights Program, which is the majority of you, you're going to get offered something tonight that I've actually never offered before, and I very likely won't ever do it again. And I'm going to give you a very good reason why. Now, before we get started, I just want to do a quick sound check and make sure you can all hear me. If you guys can hear me okay, just go ahead and click on that little yellow hand icon and let me know I'm coming through loud and clear. Let's have a look. Okay, looks like most of you can. Perfect, perfect. And I'm just looking at the names now, so I can see, yeah, so we've got about 300 people on the line right now, and they're streaming on quickly. So guys, I really do appreciate you being here. We're going to go for about, I'd say, a little bit shy of 2 hours at the very most. I'm going to try and keep it under 90 minutes, and I'm going to try and keep it fun and entertaining. I will ask that you participate. So if I ask you a question as we go through, do me a favor and click on that little yellow hand icon or type in the answer. Just let me know you're here and you can hear me. And let's get started. All right, so by the way, can everyone see my screen okay? Again, just click on that little yellow hand icon and let me know. Perfect. All right, now guys, if you do have questions, you can type them in as we go, but I won't actually answer them until we get to the end, okay? We'll get to the end and then I'll take however long we need to take to answer all the questions, but I will save that up until the very end. So let's get started. The whole point of this webinar, what I'm here to show you tonight, is how you can get positioned at Titanium so you can start making an extra $3,000 per sale in MOBE without having to come up with the full $9,000 investment. Now, I'm assuming that every single one of you who's here, if you're in the MOBE License Rights Program, you've heard of Titanium, right? You've all heard of Titanium. Most of you have a good idea of what it is. You know that it's a $9,000 investment. You can make $3,000 per sale, and you don't ever have to make the sales. We do that all for you on the back end, on the phone. That's the beauty of the system. What a lot of you don't know is that if you ever get to the point where you would like to do your own phone calls, you can do that. And you can actually make up to $5,000 commission per sale, per Titanium sale, if you go down that path. Most people, though, decide to just sit back and let our phone team do all the work. And when we do, it's a $3,000 commission. So I just want to quickly run over what exactly Titanium is, just in case we have a few people on the call who don't know about Titanium. So Titanium, what exactly is it? Like I said, okay, the way MOBE works is you're going to bring someone into the business, and we have about 37 different products right now. One of the main products you can promote is the MOBE License Rights Program. Now, does anyone know why I recommend that's one of the main things you promote? I'll tell you why. Most of our products are info products, okay? They are educational products, meaning when you make a sale, the person gets access to that information product. And most of them are going to be videos, etc., online videos, and they show how to do different aspects of building an online business. Now, let's say you're promoting our course, 10,000 leads in 100 days. And you get a sale. Does anyone know how much of a commission you make? If you're a MOBE licensee, it's $1,000, okay, $1,000 in your pocket. After that sale is made, what happens exactly? Okay, you make a sale, you get 1K, and that's great. But from that point on, that's about it for that transaction. Now, let's compare that to the MOBE License Rights Program. You sell the MOBE License Rights Program. You make $1,000, but you also make, or you also gain something that has much, much, much higher potential than a flat $1,000 commission. And that is you get a business builder in your organization that you will earn residual commissions on for the rest of their life, for the rest of your life. Meaning if someone becomes a MOBE licensee and they're under you, you make you $1,000, but they then go and start producing. Every sale they make that is commissionable as part of the MOBE license rights program, you will take 5% of the gross sale. Meaning you will get a residual check on just about everything they do from that point on. Do you see why I recommend you promote the MOBE license rights program? Now, a lot of you know the next step. What we do once we made that sale, the MOBE license rights program, the MOBE license rights program will allow someone to make a six-figure income. We have people who've done that before. We have people doing it now. It's very reasonable that you can make six figures if you put it to work. However, most of you on this webinar, most of you in this industry, you're not here to make six figures. Most of you got into building an online business because you're thinking a little bit bigger than that. You would like to make multiple six figures, and quite a few of you, from what I've heard, would like to make seven figures. So how do you get to that level? Well, it really comes down to size of the commission. And the MOBE license rights program will pay you up to $1,200 per commission, but then you have two other levels that you can choose whether you want to go to or not. Now the next one is titanium, and with titanium you're making an extra $3,000, okay, like I said. But you don't do that. You don't do the offer of titanium to your new MOBE license rights member. We do that for you, okay? That's, like I said, that's the beauty of the system. So that's the way titanium works. We follow up with your MOBE licensees, and this allows you to make an extra $3,000 per sale. So let's plug in some numbers here, okay? Let's say you make just 3 titanium sales a month. It's about one every 10 days, okay? About one every 10 days. That would be an extra $9,000 a month, which is about $108,000 per year on top of what you make as a MOBE licensee for no extra work, okay? So you can see the potential here. Now, what you might not realize is that those MOBE licensees in your team who don't get positioned at titanium, they go out there into the marketplace and they start promoting, and they will get sales, okay? They will get sales. Now, every time they get a sale, that new customer is being placed in your titanium organization. And that means when they step up, guess who gets that commission? You do. Now, if that doesn't make sense, later on during this webinar, I'm going to give you two things. I'm going to give you the compensation plan guide for MOBE. It's a PDF, so you can read through, and it explains exactly how the comp plan works. And I'm also going to give you some videos that you can watch where I explain it again. Okay, so just wait a little bit towards the end, and I'll tell you where you can get that. Now, as part of Titanium, we have an annual mastermind. The next one, and I seriously doubt that any of you have not heard of this. Okay, you would have seen me marketing it in the groups everywhere. We have the Titanium Mastermind on September 27th. Okay, September 27th, which is about a little bit over 2 weeks from now. Okay, that's all, just a little bit over 2 weeks from now. 3 days, 4 nights. It's in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. It's going to be amazing. In a moment, I'm going to show you what speakers we have. We have a few hundred Titanium members flying in from all over the world, from as far as here in Australia to Africa, Netherlands, Chile, all over the place, okay, flying in to listen. Now, let me show you a few photos of where we're actually doing the Titanium Mastermind. So, about 4 or 5 months ago, I went to Mexico. I went to Mexico and I went to Cabo San Lucas, and I actually stayed at about 5 different resorts. I stayed at the Hilton, the Westin, these big resorts that they have right there on the beaches of Mexico. And the reason why I was there is I was choosing which resort we would host Titanium at. And I settled on the Sheraton, okay, this place that you're looking at right now, because I loved it. I thought it was classy. It was a little bit more expensive than all the other ones that we looked at, but I liked it. I really liked it. So this is the one that we went with, and I'll show you a few more photos in just a second. As far as the speakers go, If you look at these photos and if you look at these names, I doubt that any of you on this webinar now don't recognize at least a couple of them. Okay, who's heard of Joe Sugarman? Just raise your hand if you've heard of Joe Sugarman. If you've been in marketing for a little while and you haven't heard of Joe Sugarman, I'm really, really surprised. Joe Sugarman has been around for decades. He's a legend of direct response marketing. He's written many, many books, one of the best living copywriters alive today. Okay, and when Joe Sugarman decided that, when he actually accepted the invitation to come and speak, I was really, really happy about that, because this is about as good as they get. James Schramko, who's heard of James? James is this guy here, where you can see my mouse circling around. James is actually based here in Australia. He's a multi-million-dollar producer in the affiliate marketing industry. Okay, so he promotes a lot of the big launches, does several $1,000,000 per year. Mike Hill, this guy right here. Does anyone know who Mike Hill is? Mike Hill, yeah, someone just typed in, Christopher Clark just typed in blue blockers. You might know Joe Sugarman from blue blockers. He's the guy who launched those blue blocker sunglasses. Mike Hill is pretty much the king of paid traffic, paid media. He has managed, don't quote me on this, but I believe it's in the hundreds of millions of dollars in advertising funds, driving traffic to different websites. This guy, all of the online gurus that I know, they all look up to this guy, Mike Hill. You know, they say, look, if you want to learn paid traffic, that guy's your man. Okay, that's the guy to learn from. Larry Benet. Okay, Larry Benet is this guy down here. Does anyone know who Larry is? Larry is probably the most connected guy that I know. He knows everyone, and he's able to get access to all kinds of different people, Donald Trump, all kinds of different people like that, billionaires, famous celebrities. But he's just a regular guy. But what he did is he got really good at getting connected to these people. He found ways to get in touch with them where most people just wouldn't really know how to go about that. And so I specifically asked him to come and speak. You know why? A big part of this industry is creating the right relationships, creating the right connection. If you know the right people, it's actually, in many ways, it's a lot easier to do well in this industry if you know the right people and if you have some connections. And that's just the truth. When we get started, most of us have zero connections. I had to build mine up. You're going to have to build some of yours up too. But this is the guy to show you. Mike Keenings. Mike Keenings runs an 8-figure business. That's over $10 million. Okay, he's really good at video marketing. Lisa Grossman. She's this lady up here on the top right. Lisa has built teams in network marketing in the tens of thousands, literally, let me back up a second, in the hundreds of thousands. What I meant to say was she does seminars where she'll have over 10,000 people in a seminar room. Think about that. Her and her partner, and I'll tell you about him in just a second, they promote some big network marketing companies, and they've got big teams, especially in countries like Asia. Okay, and when they go over there and they put on seminars, they literally have over 10,000 people coming to their seminars. That's a stadium. Okay, that's incredible. Curtis Broom, her partner, Curtis ran a $300 million per year publicly traded network marketing company. He was the guy running it. Okay, so these are the kind of people that you're going to have access to when you come to Titanium. You'll be able to get one-on-one time with them. And you'll be able to ask them, look, how do I get to the next level in my business? What are you doing that makes you so successful? Dave Van Hoos. Dave Van Hoos, about 2.5 months ago, I went to Florida for a day. And I paid Dave $10,000 for 1 day of consulting. Okay, $10,000, no joke. From about 8:30 a.m. to about 5:30 p.m. That was my day. I went to his office in Florida, and we worked on a certain part of my business. Now, when you hear Dave speak, he's amazing, okay? And what I paid $10,000 for, you're going to get for a lot less, but he'll tell you all about that when you hear him speak. Okay, and myself, of course, I'll be there too. Now, these are just the speakers, but if I showed you the attendee list, you would recognize a lot of names that are actually coming as attendees as well. So guys, in case you can't tell, I'm pretty excited about this. I'm very excited about the list of speakers that we got together. It's very rare that you see a speaker list of this kind of caliber getting together in one room. And the idea that they're all coming to Mexico and that you can be there in Mexico in a few weeks hanging out with these people, I mean, that's exciting. Now, titanium, just so you know, it's for two. Okay, it's for two. So all you do is you show up. All expenses are taken care of. Accommodation, food, drinks, entertainment, it's all taken care of. Okay, you show up, it's all taken care of. We even pick you up from the airport. You don't even have to worry about, you know, transport from the airport. We pick you up, we take you to the resort. Everyone else will be there, and we get started. And it's 3 days, 4 nights. So if you want to write this down, if you have a pen handy, just write down 27th, okay, the 27th of September. That's when you would fly in, and then that night we're going to have the welcome dinner. There's going to be fireworks, everything, the whole show to kick things off. And then day one is the 28th of September, and we finish and we leave on the 1st of October. But you're more than welcome to stay a few extra nights if you want, okay? Now, this is the part I wanted to tell you about, okay? And after I tell you this, then we're going to actually get in with the main content of this webinar. But I just want to explain to all of you what titanium is, so you have the full picture. So this isn't the kind of deal where you go and you show up and you sit in a seminar room for the whole time. Okay, this is a mastermind. I mean, this is a mastermind where you show up and we're going to go and have a lot of fun. Okay, there's going to be a lot of different activities you can do, and I want to tell you about a few of them. Fishing. Who's into fishing? If you're into fishing, Cabo San Lucas, they've got some amazing fishing places. This will be one of the optional activities that you can go on. When I say optional, it's all paid for. Okay, it's all paid for. It's not like you show up and then we tell you, hey, now you've got these optional extras and now you have to go and pay for them. We actually take care of all of this. This is all included in the titanium investment. So you've got fishing, golfing. Okay, who's into golfing? If you're into golfing, feel free to bring your clubs. There's lots and lots and lots of famous golf courses all around Cabo San Lucas. So you'll be able to choose which of these activities you do. If you want to go golfing, more than welcome to. Now this is what gets me pretty excited. Okay, and I'll tell you about this. So like I said, I was in Cabo a few months ago myself, and part of my job is I have to go and stay at all of these resorts, and I've got to try out all of these activities to design this experience for you. So when you show up, you have an amazing time, and that's something that you remember for years and years. Out of all the activities, this is the one that did actually have me a little bit scared. I've got to be honest, it did. These things, they are, I mean, this is definitely, like, for those of you who really like adrenaline, and you really like to go fast, this is for you. Now, they're perfectly safe. Okay, you can see they've got the roll bar and you're strapped in very tight. Okay, you're strapped in, you've got the helmet on, the goggles, but they do go pretty quick. And when you get in these, you and your guest, because remember, titanium's for two. You bring a guest and they're all paid for. And if you don't want to bring a guest, we'll partner you up with someone else. That's fine. But you and your guest, you'll get in this buggy. They're called Baja buggies. And you'll get in, you'll strap yourself in, and then we start off and we cruise through the desert in Mexico, and then we arrive on the beach. So you'll be cruising along on the beach with the waves crashing. It's really, really awesome. And they do have, it's up to you how fast you want to go, but if you're into going really fast and you want to get air, if you want to go over jumps and actually get air, you can. Okay, these things are pretty insane. A lot of fun. Now, here's another one. This is also a little bit of adrenaline. These are called zip lines. Okay, it's a zip line tour, and they also have a few other activities as well. included in this tour. These are actually photos of me. This is when I was there a few months ago, and you can see this top left one here in the strange position. I was going backwards. Okay, I was zooming down the zip line going backwards. And again, guys, all of this is completely safe and optional. So if you don't want to do it, that's fine. But I recommend you do, because it's a lot of fun. Going down this cliff, you can see that too. Going backwards here in the bottom right, going backwards and going pretty quickly. So if you want to go zip lining, that will also be another optional activity. What else do we have? Sunset cruises. This one is not optional. This is everyone. Okay, everyone's going to come on the sunset cruise. So the way it works is everyone arrives in Mexico. It's recommended you get there on the 27th, which is a Friday. Now, if you want to get in a day or two early, you're more than welcome to. But on the 28th, day one, that afternoon we go and do the activities. And then that night on sunset, we're all going to get on a cruise ship. And it's a little bit of a party boat. Okay, it is. Okay, it's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a couple hundred Titanium members and their guests, so people from all ages and backgrounds. You'll make a lot of new friends on this mastermind. But we're going to get on a cruise ship and we're going to go out on sunset around Cabo San Lucas, around the bay there. Okay, we did this in Fiji at our Platinum Mastermind a few months ago, back in May, and everyone loved it. Like, this was one of the main, this was one of the best parts of Fiji. So we decided we're going to do it again. Now that picture there in the top left, that's called Lover's Arch, and you might have seen that before. That's a famous landmark in Cabo San Lucas. So we get up really close there. There's seals as well. When I was there, we got up really close and you see seals and everything. It's really amazing. So this is the Sunset Cruise. Everyone will be able to get on this. Nightlife, okay? This isn't for everyone, but look, if you're into going out and clubs and everything like that, Cabo San Lucas has something for everyone, okay? It really does. So that night on the 28th, you will have the option. Okay, you'll have the option as to whether you want to go back to the resort and relax, okay, as I'm sure a lot of people will. But if you decide you would like to go out and see the nightlife in Cabo San Lucas, where we are staying is about a 10-minute taxi ride from downtown Cabo San Lucas. And it's a small town, it's a few thousand people, but it's really bustling at night. There's a lot of tourists, locals. It's very safe. Okay, very friendly, lots and lots of taxis. So that's also an option for you as well. So just know if you want to go out, there's plenty of places to go out. Some other activities. AVs. So you see up here in the top left, these are called ATVs or AVs. They're a lot of fun too. They go pretty quick. This one here in the bottom left, these are called Polaris Razors. And these were probably my favorite one. Okay, this will be another optional activity you can do. Again, you and your guest will get in the Polaris Razor and you'll be cruising along on the beach dunes, through the desert, through this winding track, and you can go pretty quick too. Okay, they're very safe. Again, you're strapped in, they're safe. It's a lot of fun. Now, for those of you who aren't so much into, really high adrenaline sports and those kind of things, you can do more relaxed activities like horse riding on the beach. Okay, so when I say there's going to be something for everyone, I really mean it. Okay, there really will be. Whatever you want to do, there's going to be something for you. Water sports. We did this in Fiji, and this was by far one of the favorite days. So if you're into jet skis, which I love, okay, again in Fiji, that was my first time really having a good ride on a jet ski. It's awesome fun. Snorkeling. So guys, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm pretty excited about this. In 2 weeks, a whole bunch of us are going to be in Cabo, and this is what we're going to be doing, these kind of things. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a really, really good time. Now, so that was me telling you what you get with Titanium, okay? And I'm going to get into the main content in just a second. But what else do you get with Titanium? You also get some one-on-one coaching, Okay, have you ever invested in a program online before and you brought the product, but then you were pretty much left to go and implement it yourself? What we try and do at MOBE is, for our main programs like the MOBE License Rights Program, Titanium, Platinum, we also include one-on-one coaching where you actually get to work with one of the coaches one-on-one, and they help you implement. Okay, they help you implement and they answer any questions you have. So as part of Titanium, you actually get access to one of our Titanium coaches, and for over 5 sessions, they will work with you and they will help you implement. Now, on top of that, what we like to do is we like to give you a head start. Getting your first few hundred leads is usually, those are the hardest leads you'll get. Once you've got a few hundred leads, your list almost magically grows by itself. And I don't mean that literally. I don't mean it grows by itself, but it's weird. It's psychologically, when you have a list of a few hundred people, it's much easier for you to go and build that list even further. It just is. But when you're starting from scratch and you don't have much of a list at all, then it's kind of hard to get started. So what we want to do, when you become Titanium, we will generate 500 new leads. These aren't old leads, these are brand new leads, and we'll put them onto your list. Okay, so you can promote whatever you like. Whatever you want to promote, you can. Now, hopefully you promote MOBE, but if you want to promote something else, you're more than welcome to do that. Okay, so that's Titanium. Basically, the Titanium $3,000 commissions, Cabo San Lucas 3 days, 4 nights, one-on-one wealth and pure freedom coaching, and the list, 500 new leads. So I'm guessing that most of you knew that. You already knew what Titanium is. Now, before we get started, I'm going to begin by asking you all a question. Okay, and I'm going to, just give me 1 second here. I'm going to lower everyone's hands. Let me ask you the question. The question is, if money were not an issue for you right now, would you be willing to get positioned as a Titanium member right now, and come to Cabo San Lucas? If we put aside the object of money and we said, look, forget about the money, would you get positioned right now? Would you come to Cabo? Let me have a look at the response here. Let's have a look. All right. So I can see that the vast majority of you, I would say about 90% of you right now, are raising your hand. Okay, a lot of you are typing in comments, yes, yes, yes. So let's have a look. Who said yes? So Emmanuel said yes, Adam, Tony, Demetrius, Virgil, Jane, Peter from Perth, I think, Paul, Kelly, Emmanuel, Gary, Alan. Too many to read out all the names. But a lot of you are saying yes. Okay, you're saying yes. What I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to show you, by the end of this webinar, how you can get positioned at Titanium and be in Cabo San Lucas without having to have the full $9,000 investment today. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do this, how you can be in Cabo in a few weeks without having to have $9,000 in cash to do the investment right now today. Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about. So guys, let's begin. Before we get started, well, actually we are getting started. Let me lay the groundwork here, the foundations. I want to tell you a story of financial stupidity starring this guy, yours truly. Okay, so most of you have a rough idea of my story. You know that I got started in 2008, and I wasn't one of these instant successes that you see. Okay, I don't know about you, but it kind of annoys me when you see someone get started online and in their first few weeks they're doing, or in their first few months they're doing $50,000 a month and above and beyond. I was not like that. Okay, I was the kind of guy who spent years struggling like hell, okay, to get results in the industry, because I had to learn all of this from scratch. I didn't know what I didn't know. A lot of reasons, but anyway, I didn't get off to a fast start. But I got started in 2008. I put down $2,000 into this company right on the end of 2008. I couldn't do anything for about 2 months because I had to go back home to my parents' farm. I grew up on a wheat and sheep farm here in Australia. and I had to help them out with the harvest for a few months. But after that was over, I get back to the city. I've invested $2,000 in this brand new business. And I'm kind of excited, but I really have no clue what I'm doing. I don't know what a blog is. I don't know how to get a website up. I don't even know how to get a domain name or what an autoresponder is. All of this was completely new to me. And even though I was a young guy, technology did not come to me naturally. A lot of people think I'm some kind of tech guy, but I'm really not, okay? I'm not naturally someone who can, learn computers well, okay, or how to do internet marketing. So it took a little while. Now, shortly after that, I went to my first company event, okay, with this company. Now, this company was taking off like wildfire here in Australia. It was growing very, very quickly. One guy in this company set the monthly income record. He did something like $270,000 in a month. It was a bit of a fluke, to be honest, looking back at the circumstances, but it certainly wasn't typical. But when I heard about numbers like that, I got really, really excited. So anyway, I went to my first company event, which was over in Sydney, and at this event, I learned about these two additional levels. And the investment was quite big. It was somewhere around $24,000, something like that for both of them. Now, what was happening in early 2009? Does anyone remember early 2009? What was going on? The economy was in the toilet. The economy wasn't doing too well, right? And what that meant for exchange rates between Australia and the United States was that we were not in a good position. So that $24,000 US investment, okay, US dollars, was actually about $38,000 Australian. This would have been in about March of 2009. Now, to put that in perspective, today, if I'd done the same investment, it would be about half. Okay, literally, it would be about half. But back then, with my timing, okay, and I don't regret it one bit, but with the way it worked out, that's what it cost. So I put in $38,000 into this company, in addition to the $2K I've already put in. Shortly after that, I decided to quit university. I'm 1 year away from graduating with a finance degree, and I was going to go off and do, investment banking or something like that. I always wanted to become very wealthy, okay, and that was my whole goal. I thought I'd seen the movie Wall Street. Who's seen Wall Street? I'd seen Wall Street, and that was my, I thought, oh, that's where the money is. I'm going to go into banking or something like that. I thought, I got excited about that. But then I came across this home business, and I saw the potential, and I thought, I'm going to put that path on hold, okay, of going into, banking and so on, and I am going to try this home business thing, and I'm going to take it very seriously. So I quit university. I stopped mowing lawns. I had a small lawn mowing business. That's how I made my money. That's how I'd saved up a lot of my money on the side. So I stopped mowing lawns. I stopped any source of income. I remember as a student, I used to get a government allowance, okay? In Australia here, if you go to university or college, as you guys call it, over there in America, you can qualify for the student payments. Because if you're a poor student, okay, if you don't have a lot of money and you can show that you meet those requirements, the government will pay you, okay? They'll pay you a couple $100s per week, and I was relying on those payments. I remember walking down into those offices, okay, of this government agency called Centrelink, walking in there and saying, I don't want to get my payments anymore. And they asked me why. They said, why? Did you get a job? And I said, no, I don't want to get them anymore. And they looked at me a little bit strange. Now, the reason why I did it is because I wanted to burn all the bridges behind me. I wanted to set myself up so I had no choice but to do well in the industry. And that's what I did. Okay, so I set myself up completely where I just had to get results. Now, those first few months were The first few years, in fact, were a real struggle. They really were. I didn't have half the things that you guys have now with MOBE. I didn't have a phone team. I didn't have real training. Okay, I was being taught by people who really didn't know what they were talking about. We didn't have half the things that you have available today. So I got off to a slow start. But around late 2011, finally, things started to go well. Now let me back up a second. You've got to understand, from 2009 to mid-2011, there was barely any money coming in. So do you think that I worried too much about taxes? Do you think I worried too much about bookkeeping or any of that kind of stuff? Absolutely not. It didn't even enter my mind, because I didn't really have any taxable income in the first place. Whatever money I made, the expenses were far higher than whatever I was spending. So I knew that I wouldn't owe any taxes at all. So I didn't even think about that. Towards the end of 2011, I hit a turning point. Something changed. Okay, something changed, and I started to make money. And then I started to make more. And it started to come in faster than I could possibly ever want to spend it. Okay, and I mean that literally. October 2011 had my first $15,000 month. Okay, at the time I thought that was all the money in the world. I remember that month getting to the end and being a little bit shocked. I thought, wow, it can't get much better than this. And I remember working it out, and it worked out to be about $180,000 per year if I could keep this up. And I thought, wow, that's decent money. That's more than I would have been making if I'd stayed in university and got that job. This is kind of cool. 2 months later, December 2011, I had my first $45,000 a month. That really blew my mind. I remember going back to my parents' farm and for Christmas and New Year's, late December, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. I couldn't stop thinking about this month that I was having. It just couldn't get better than that, right? It couldn't get better than $45,000 in a month. The next month, $81,000 in revenue, January 2012. That just almost scared me. I thought, it's weird. If you've never made that kind of money before and you suddenly come into money, it's a strange feeling. Okay, it really is. And that really shocked me. Now, I'm guessing you've heard the rest of the story. From there, it just kept on getting better and better and better. And I just went up and up and up. And my goal became, every time we had a good month, you know what my goal was? I thought, okay, that's great. Now let's beat it. Let's see if we can beat it. And that became my goal. Okay, so I was all about fast growth. I wanted my company to grow very quickly. And if I'm being completely honest with you, maybe there was a little bit of fear in that. Okay, there was a little bit of fear that this can't last. Okay, this can't last. I've somehow got lucky. This might not ever happen again. And I don't want to go backwards. I don't want to lose it. So everything became about beating that record. Okay. Now I made sure, of course, that we were still doing a good job serving our clients. And I always try to do that, but we grew so quickly that, we just, if you've ever been in a really fast growth company, it's messy. Okay. It can be very messy. But things were growing so quickly and there was so much going on that before I knew it, I was hiring people, and we went from being a one-person company, me, not even a company, just myself, to having somewhere around 25 people virtually full-time in the company. Now, throughout all of this, do you think that I was worrying about bookkeeping, okay, or paying taxes? I should have been, but I wasn't. I wasn't deliberately trying to avoid it. Any of them. I want to make that clear. I wasn't trying to deliberately avoid them. It's just that I was so focused on the growth of the company that everything I did was all about, okay, what is the most leveraged use of my time right now? What are the income or the revenue generating activities that I should be focusing on right now? And the idea of sitting down and going through receipts and bank statements for the past few years to do my bookkeeping, it just really did not have much appeal to me. I knew I should be doing it though, and as I got throughout 2012, when we started doing over 100,000, then 200,000, then $300,000 months, I started to think, well, geez, you know, I'm bringing in quite a bit of money here. I should probably get my bookkeeping in order because, well, someone's going to notice. Someone's going to notice that my bank account went from having at most a few $1,000s in it at its peak to now having hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Someone's going to notice, and I thought, okay, I should do it. So there was that nagging voice in the back of my mind. Now, I don't know about you, but if you've ever had that nagging voice that tells you should do something, sometimes you just put it off, okay? Sometimes you just ignore it. So I continued to ignore it. Around the end of 2012, I thought, okay, this is getting serious. I really need to pay some taxes because, look, I'm going to get in trouble here, and I really should, okay? I really should. So I went and hired a bookkeeper, okay? And I said, look, here's the deal. We've been growing so quickly that I haven't focused too much on this. And what I'd like you to do is go through all of these receipts, blah, 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 and get me up to speed. Bring me up to date in whatever I owe. And I had no idea what kind of taxes I'd have to pay. I wasn't really keeping track of that. So it actually ended up taking them about 5 months, literally about 5 months, to get my bookkeeping in order. And that was partly because I just dragged my feet, okay? I didn't go and get the things they need, and I was traveling, I was just focused on growing the company, growing the business. But around early 2013, I learned a few things. First of all, they tell me, Matt, we've got your numbers, okay? We've got your numbers. Now remember, I was in Las Vegas at the time. I was speaking at the No Excuses Summit. Does anyone remember that? Anyone who was at No Excuses and you're in Vegas? So I'm in Vegas. I'm staying at the MGM Grand, and I'm speaking. And I'm speaking in a few days. I get an email from the bookkeeper, and they say, Matt, we've got you up to date with your bookkeeping, and here is what you owe in taxes. And I look at the number. Now I was hoping, I'm going to be honest with you, I was kind of hoping that, look, you guys are accountants, do something, you know, make that number smaller, okay? Do what you need to do, whatever that is. I didn't really know what to expect, and I was hoping for a reasonable number. And I see this big, gigantic number of $153,000. Now let me explain. That $153,000 was for the financial year of 2011 to 2012. You see, here in Australia, the financial year is from the 1st of July to the 30th of June. Okay, something like that, or the 31st of June, whatever it is, 30th of June. But that's where it is. So when you pay taxes, it's based on your taxable income from that 1 year period. Okay, basically halfway through the year to the next halfway through the year. Okay, if that makes sense. So in 2011, most of that year I didn't make much, but in early 2012 I started making decent money. And in that half the year, my taxes were $153,000. Now you've got to understand something about me. I'm a very, very frugal guy. Okay, just in case you don't know, I'm a very frugal guy. If I fly somewhere, I always go economy. I just do. It's just habit. If most of you on this webinar right now, I can see all of you on this webinar listening to me right now, if most of you saw my car, you would be shocked. Okay, you would be absolutely shocked, and you probably wouldn't believe I drive it. It is a very old car, and it definitely is nothing special. I wouldn't get more than $1,000 for it if I tried to sell it. Okay, now you've got to understand that's just the way I'm wired. I don't like to put money in places where I don't see it multiplying into more money. So investing money into a car just seems silly to me. I'll no matter how much money I'll make, I'll never be the guy who goes and buys a Ferrari. It's just not how I'm wired. Okay, so I'm a very frugal guy. So the idea of now having $153,000 flow out of my bank account really just shocks me. And I call up the accountant and I or my bookkeeper and I say, look, isn't there something you can do? I mean, surely we've had more expenses you can deduct or something. You know, what can we do? And she said, well, no, this is as low as I can get it. Okay, this is based on, you know, what you've given me. This is exactly what it is. So I said to myself, all right, okay, all right, I guess I just have to. I'm going to pay it. Okay, fine. Now you got to understand that at this point, because I hadn't done it in so long, I'd racked up about $10,000 in fines and interest as well. Okay, but I thought, okay, I better do this because they're going to start. They're going to keep on charging more and more interest. So I wired them $153,000. You can see the bank statement there. Have a look at the dates. This is the 17th of June, 18th of June this year. Now keep in mind again, this is for the 2011 and 2012 financial year. So it's the 18th of June. I've just paid this, and I send an email to Tanya, my bookkeeper, and I say, look, it's all been paid, done. And a few days later, I notice the dates, and I think, okay, geez, we're at the end of June here. We are ending the next financial year, 2012, 2013. Now, you've got to understand that the way tax works here in Australia is you're taxed on your taxable income. Your taxable income is all of your revenue minus all of the expenses in the business. Okay? Which means that if you have higher expenses, okay, legitimate expenses, your taxable income goes down and you pay a percentage of that. Now, actually, let me back up 1 second. Let me tell you what was really stupid. So I said this is a story of financial stupidity. Let me tell you why this was so stupid. Do you know what I did? When I set up my business in the very beginning, I actually didn't really set much up at all. I was just trading as an individual. So all throughout 2012, when I started making decent money and I started having months where we do over $100,000 in revenue consistently, guess what? I wasn't set up as a company. I was set up as a sole proprietor. Do you know what that means here in Australia? If you're a sole proprietor and you start earning over a certain amount, I think it's over about $150,000 per year, you pay very steep taxes. You pay over 45% of your taxable income. And again, I was stupid because if I could go back in time from the very beginning, I would have set myself up as a company. And I didn't do that because I was just so focused on the day-to-day running of my business. I didn't think about this stuff. Okay, so throughout all of this time, I was set up where I was paying 45%. Whatever my taxable income was, I had to pay 45%. So early 2012, early 2013, I said, Tanya, look, let's get set up as a company straight away because I'm not paying 45% again. Okay, there's no way that's happening. So we did that. So now it's the 18th of June. I've just paid 150 grand in taxes, and a few days later, it hits me. I look at the dates and I think, okay, the 2012-2013 financial year is almost at an end. I've got about 10 days left. Whatever my taxable income is for that period, I'm then going to have to pay about 30%. Okay, I'm going to have to pay about 30% of that to taxes. Now, the first half of 2012 was a good year, but the second half of 2012 and the first half of 2013 were exceptional months. Okay, they were just really good. So this number here, 153,000, I knew that this number was going to be very, very, very small compared to what I was going to be paying for the next financial year. And you know what happened? I kind of panicked about that. I kind of panicked. You see, when you work really, really hard in your business, and I'm sure you've all done this before, if you've ever worked really hard at something, you know, you built a business and you're working 12, 14-hour days, 7 days a week, day in, day out for years on end, you want to be able to keep what you're making, right? Because you're working so hard for it. And the idea of now having to pay taxes of well over $500,000, that just didn't sit too well with me. So I said to myself, okay, what expenses do I have right now? I've got about a week left before the end of this financial year. What expenses can I pay up front to reduce my taxable income for this financial period? And this is what happened. This is a screenshot of my bank statement from the 27th of June to the 1st of July this year. Can everyone see that? Here, see this part here, this column right here, this one in the middle? This is money going out, and this column on the right, this is money coming in. What do you notice? There's a lot more money going out in that period than there was coming in. And I was doing that intentionally. Okay, so on the 27th of June, I started to pay any expenses I could, okay, legitimate expenses, right? Expenses I knew that I was going to have to pay, but I started to pay them up front. Because why? I wanted to reduce my taxable income. I wanted to get it right down so I'd have a smaller tax bill. So I couldn't do that with small bills of a few $100s. That wouldn't even be a drop in the ocean. I mean, that wouldn't be anything. I knew I had to look for the big expenses. So you see, okay, 27th, $15,000. It's not a big expense. We do that all the time. $10,000. This one here, $115,000. That's an expense for something. I paid $115,000. $230,000. Okay, I paid that expense. A few more 20s down here. $250,000 expense right down here, 1st of July. In this 3 or 4 day period, about $650,000 in cash sitting in this particular bank account that I have left my bank account, okay, intentionally, all intentionally. These are expenses that I knew I'd have to pay, and they were coming up, but I said, look, can I pay them a little bit faster? I reached out to the people and I said, oh, I can pay this one now. And I just rushed to get it all out. Now, this was my bad luck. This is me procrastinating. All of these expenses here on the 1st of July, that's because I put them in I filed them, I sent them, I logged into my online banking and I sent them on Friday, I think it was the 28th of June, that Friday afternoon, and the bank did not clear them. So all of that was, I was too late. I was about an hour too late getting whatever that amount is, about $300,000 out. Because again, I naturally procrastinate. I just do it. But this one here, this is what I want to talk about. And this expense here, this is what the entire tonight is really about. This is what it's all about. Can everyone see that? The 28th of June, $230,000. Does anyone know? Someone type it in. If you know what it is, type it in right now. What do you think that's for? $230,000. Have a guess. Someone type it in. What do you think it's for? Yeah, everyone's typing it in. Carbo, Sheraton. All right, you can see it. It's fairly obvious. It says Sheraton. Because a few months earlier, I'd been in Cabo in Mexico. I'd been staying at all of these resorts, and I loved the Sheraton. I thought, even though it's a little bit more expensive, I loved this resort. So to rent out that entire resort for 4 nights, okay, for the 4-night Titanium Mastermind, 3 days, 4 nights, $230,000 was a part of it, okay? It wasn't even all of it, but it was the majority. Normally, I would pay that off over in payments. I would never usually do that up front. But I said to them, look, I reached out to them and I said, all right, if you can give us this extra discounted rate per room, I'm willing to pay this up front right now. So we did. Okay, I paid $230,000. We rented out the entire resort, over 200 rooms, 5-star resort right on the beach of Mexico. I send them all of this money. Okay, and I do reduce my taxable income. Now, to do this, to pull this off, that would mean that between the months of July, August, and September, 3 months, I would have to fuel that entire resort with Titanium members, okay, to make this work. Now, you've got to understand, we only launched Titanium about 11 months ago, 10 or 11 months ago. So it's still quite a new program. And that would mean that even though we'd got quite a few people had seen the bigger vision and stepped up to Titanium, even though that was the case, it meant that in 3 months I would have to get really, really, really busy. But you know what? This is just the way I operate. I like to put myself in situations where I have no choice to perform. It puts tremendous pressure on me, but I knew, look, if I'm going to pay for this entire resort up front, here's how many tickets I need to sell. And that would be my target. And I would have to just push like crazy to do that. I just would. Now, the good news is we actually made our numbers comfortably. Here's a screenshot. This is from one of the Facebook groups, the Titanium Facebook group. You'll see 180 members in there. That's not even all of the Titanium members. We have more than that. Okay, more than 200 people are Titanium members. And again, this is less than a year old. Okay, so lots and lots of people want to be a Titanium. And why wouldn't they? Okay, it's the best mastermind in the industry. It's some of the best venues, the best places to go, the best speakers. So we made our numbers. Okay, we had enough people registered for Titanium that renting out the entire Sheraton resort now seemed like a good move. But you know what happened? About 2 months ago, when we started reaching out to Titanium members and asking, are you coming to Titanium? Something happened that I didn't count on. And in hindsight, I was kind of stupid. I should have seen it. Something happened. What I didn't count on? Flights. I didn't count on the cost of flight. I wasn't taking that into account. You see, most of our Titanium members, a lot of you are over there in the States. Okay, so if you're in the United States right now, it's kind of cheap for you to fly to Mexico. It's not a big expense at all. Okay, it really isn't. If you go to Expedia.com right now and you have a look, what does a flight cost from wherever you are in the US to Cabo San Lucas? I seriously doubt it's going to be over $1,000. Okay, you'd have to tell me that. But we have a lot of international MOBE members as well. We have people from all the way here in Australia. Now, did you know that to fly from Australia to Cabo San Lucas right now, it's about over $3,000 a ticket for one person. Now, if you're bringing 2 people, because you bring your guest, remember Titanium's all expenses paid for 2, then that's $6,000 in airfares. And I didn't count on that. So what I started to realize about a month and a half ago was that a lot of people weren't going to make this one. And I was really shocked. I thought, why wouldn't you come to this mastermind? Look at the speakers, look at where it's going to be. But it was really, at the end of the day, it just really came down to, look, flights are expensive and we're going to defer 1 year. And that put me in a bit of a difficult situation because I'd signed a contract with the Sheraton Resort and I'd paid up front for this many rooms. And now it looked like, okay, even though we've got a lot of people coming to Titanium, it doesn't quite look like we're going to get there. And I started, that just didn't sit too well with me. I started to think, okay, there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way. So I started to think, okay, what do I need to do now? If I keep on going along the same path that I'm doing now, we're not going to make it. Okay, we're not going to make our numbers for this Titanium Mastermind. I need to do something. I need to innovate here. I need to do something to change the situation. What can I do? Do you know what I did? Shortly after that, I walked down to my office. I walked down the road, literally a few buildings down, to a bank called Westpac, a big bank here in Australia. And I walk into the bank and I'd say to them, I want to take out $50,000 in cash tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to come back tomorrow. I'd like $5,000 in $100 notes. I'd like $15,000 in $50 notes, and so on. And I wrote it down and I said, here's what I want. They looked at me a little bit strange and I said, this is what I want, and I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up. Next day I walk in, they had the cash there, and I was surprised a little bit by just how big the pile was, but I take it back to my office. I'm looking around over my shoulder just to make sure no one's spying on me or following me. But I go back into my office. I sit it down on the desk that I'm at right now as I do this webinar, and I make this video and I announce, I'm giving away $50,000 in our latest partner contest. and you're going to be promoting my top tier business, and you'll get points. You'll get points for my top tier business, MOBE license rights, titanium, and platinum. Now, if I'm being completely honest, the reason why I did this is because I thought, all right, I need to get the partners really excited. Okay, I need to get them really excited and promoting, and that's going to be good for them. It's going to be good for me, okay, because we're going to make our targets. So we launched this, the biggest, by far the biggest cash contest I've ever done. Okay, I've never done a contest before where we gave away $50,000 in cash. Did it work? It absolutely did work. Okay, we have had, in the past few months, we've had 3 record months. It's worked very, very well. And when I say record months, it's not all about me. That's really more about you guys, because you make all the commissions, right? You make all the commissions. You make the majority of the commissions. So we've been paying out more and more partner commissions. So it worked very well. And in fact, it almost worked too well. We had so many people coming into my top tier business that we had to go and hire more coaches. I sent out an email to my list, which a lot of you might remember, and we actually got about 65 applications to join our team. And we narrowed that down to this list you can see here. This is a private Skype group of all the people doing phone trials with me. We had about maybe 10, 15 new people come on board. And guys, the really good news is, on a bit of a side note, if you bring a lead into my top tier business, guess what we do now? We're actually able to assign them to a coach in their country. So far, we can do that for the UK, for the US, and Australia. We now have coaches in those 3 countries, and as we hire more, we'll be able to assign your leads to someone local to them, which is pretty cool. Okay, it's pretty cool. So this worked very, very well. And yes, we had a lot more people coming into MOBE and a lot more people becoming titanium and so on. So it started to look very well, but it wasn't quite enough. Okay, it wasn't quite enough. Again, I had paid for this entire resort and we'd filled the majority of it, but we were still a little bit short. So guess what the next solution was? I thought, okay, all right, how about if I go back to the hotel management, okay, of the Sheraton, and we say to them, look, what if we were to use these extra rooms that we paid for? What if we do another event here in the next 2 years? Okay, what if we do another event? And we use whatever that extra is we paid and we credit that towards the next event. Here's their response. Okay, this is their response. Now, the part that I want you to pay attention to is this bottom part. Basically, they said, look, you committed to spending $285,000. That's what we were counting on, revenue in the contract. Okay, and if this seems a little bit complicated, don't worry. The part I want you to get is this part down the bottom. So we make the offer, look, we'll come back and we'll do another event here in the next 2 years. And whatever that extra is we've already paid for, we can then credit that over to the next event. Here's what they said. They said, look, senior management has agreed to review the final pickup of the group post-departure with the possibility of applying a portion of the penalties paid to a future program. What they are saying there is they're saying that, look, once you come in and you do your big mastermind event, after you've left, then we'll tell you whether you can use that extra in paid rooms for another event. But we don't have to do anything if we don't want, because in the contract, you agreed that this is what you would deliver. Now, whether or not that's right or not, that's what was in the contract. And that's what they're saying. Okay, so effectively, they're ruling that option of doing another event. They're saying no. Okay, they're saying that's not really going to happen. You know what happened, guys? I started to think, and I thought, and this was about 2 weeks ago, and I started to think, all right, so we had that big idea of doing the $50,000 contest. That partially worked, but there's something stopping a lot of our MOBE licensees who go titanium or who are thinking about titanium making it to this live mastermind. There's something stopping you. And I, of course, I had a few ideas what it was. So I went and posted in the Facebook group about a week ago, half a week ago, and I posted this, and a lot of you would have seen this, right? You've seen this before. I said, look, I just had a crazy idea the kind of idea that comes along every few months. And when I tell you this idea, I think a lot of you will love it. But basically, I want to know, what's the one biggest thing holding you back from becoming titanium and getting to carbo in a few weeks? And these were the options. Now have a look at the answers. Just about everyone said, well, look, it comes down to two things. It's the $9,000 investment. I don't have it right now. And money for the flight is what is holding me back. That's the biggest thing holding a lot of you back right now. Would that be fair to say? Okay, you would love to be in titanium. You would love to be there. But it's just simply a matter of money. So I started to think, and this is something that I came up with, but I didn't really want to do it. You see, guys, ever since we launched Titanium and Platinum, we don't really usually do payment plans. We don't do them for a number of reasons. Number one, when you do a payment plan, you're not really fully committing to whatever you invested in. That's just the truth. That's just the way it is. In early 2009, when I invested $38,000 into that company, I could have gone to that person and said, who I was paying the money to, and said, can I do this in a payment plan? I deliberately chose not to do that. I deliberately went and found the money. I had to borrow it from several different places. I had to go into my savings. I went and found the money up front. And you know why I did that? First of all, I wanted to be able to say to anyone that I brought on board in that company that I had done the upfront investment. I believed it that much that I'd done the upfront investment. The other reason why that we don't usually do payment plans, think about it. If you're marketing titanium and platinum and they pay you $3,000 and $5,000 commissions, do you really want to be getting your commission spread out over a few months? Or would you rather just get the whole lot up front? Okay, would you like to get it up front 2 weeks after the sale? By the way, if you didn't hear, we've officially switched to a 2-week delay in getting paid rather than 45 days. You make a sale, you get paid 2 weeks later. So we officially announced that last night on Facebook. Not sure if you saw that. But my question is, would you rather get paid your $3,000 commission up front or your $3,000 commission spread out over, say, 3 months? Most of you would want it up front, right? So we haven't really ever offered payment plans on titanium and platinum. We don't really like to do it at all. And I tell my guys who are on the phone, no, let's do it up front. Okay, we do it always up front. But a lot of you, I knew that, look, if there was a way that you could somehow do a payment plan for titanium, that would allow you a little bit more money on the side for marketing and also for the flight to get to Cabo San Lucas. So for the first time in practically a year since we launched those programs, I started to consider this idea of doing a payment plan temporarily for titanium. If that would be the difference between you coming to Cabo, you having the money for the flight and so on, and for some marketing, and not. So I started to consider it. And I don't like to use words like this. I don't like to say once in a lifetime offer. Okay, I really don't like to say that because you've heard this before in marketing. It just sounds like such hype. But when I tell you that what I'm about to show you, what I'm about to offer you is once in a lifetime, I really, really mean it. I really do mean it. I'll tell you why. This whole situation I got into with the Sheraton Resort will never, ever, ever happen again. I promise you that. Next time that we go and do a mastermind and we rent out an entire resort, like we're doing in Costa Rica for Platinum in 2014, I'll be over there in about a week and a half at that resort, shooting the video for that. Next time we go and do that, I will make sure that in the contract, it's stated clearly. There's a way around this situation in the contract. I will make sure of that. So I'm telling you, we will never get in this situation again. It will never happen again. We will never do payment plans for titanium ever, ever, ever again. I'm going to allow it for 1 week, okay, 1 week only, or for the first 50. That's it. Whatever happens first, if the 50 spots go in the next day, then it's all over, okay? It's not going to be offered again. but it really is once in a lifetime. And I want to ask you this question. If I were to say to you right now on this webinar, if I were to ask you, would you get positioned at Titanium if you could do a 2-month payment plan? Rather than having the full $9,000 up front, would you get positioned and come to Carbo if you could do a 2-month payment plan of just $5,000 per month? By show of hands, would you do that? Okay, just give me some feedback here. Okay, so I can see the hands flying up. A lot of you are typing in yes, 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 I would. John, Catherine, Michael, a lot of you are typing in yes, absolutely. Next question. What if I offered you a 3-month payment plan? So rather than having $5,000 today, what if you only need $3,500 today? Would you be willing to get positioned at Titanium for $3,500 right now if I was to offer you that? Okay, and again, from what I can see, a lot of the hands are going up. Okay, let's take it a step further. Let's go one step further. How about 4 months? What if we went down to $2,800? And again, this is a one-time thing. We will not be doing this again. But what if I did? What if we went down to $2,800 today and you could get positioned at Titanium and you could start making those $3,000 commissions? What about 5 months? What if we went down to $2,200? Now this is getting a little bit ridiculous. $2,200 today. That's not even that much more than you invested in the MOBE license rights program. What if you could get positioned at Titanium for just $2,200 today? Here's what I'm offering tonight for the first 50 people who respond. Okay, and again, we had over 600 people register for this webinar. We have around 1,800 MOBE licensees right now. Okay, I want you to remember that. We have around 1,800 MOBE licensees. I'm offering this for the first 50 people who respond. For the first 50 MOBE licensees who take me up on this offer, you will get it. Once it's gone forever, and it will not be offered again. Again, I'm being very serious about this. This won't be offered next year. It won't ever be offered again. There's a very clear reason why I'm offering it now, which I've explained to you. The situation with the Sheraton, my misfortune is now your advantage. I'm offering this for the first 50 people who respond, and that's it. Here's the offer. $1,897 today. $1,897 today, and you can get positioned at Titanium. That's a 6-month installment plan, but just $1,897 today. You get positioned. Every lead that you bring in now goes into your Titanium organization. When they step up, that's a $3,000 commission in your pocket. Okay, I told you that we were going to do something a little bit insane tonight, and I was being very real with you on that. $1,897 today. On top of that, you can come to Cabo. You can come to Cabo. So in a few weeks, you can be in Cabo San Lucas for just $1,897 today. That's it. Now, you should know something, guys. What do you think this actually costs to put on a mastermind like this? It costs a lot of money. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. That $230,000 payment, that was partially for the resort. That doesn't include activities, transport once you're there in Cabo. It doesn't include any of that. So for me to bring 2 people to Cabo and to put this on, it's a lot more than $1,897, which means that when you come to Cabo, I'm losing a little bit, and I'm trusting that you will do the right thing and you will honor that installment plan. Okay, I'm trusting that you will come to Cabo, you will love it so much, you'll go home, and with what you learn, you'll be able to really crank up your marketing, and $3,000 commissions will come in quickly. But I'm trusting that you will honor that installment plan. So long as you commit to doing that now, and you tell me right now that you can do that, you can come to Cabo San Lucas for just $1,897 today. That's it. Okay, and I know that's a spectacular offer, but I'm offering that for very good reason. Like I said, it's for the first 50 people only, and then our room block will be full. Okay, and then it will be completely full and will be good. if you'd like to take advantage of that, go to titaniumdeal.com right now, and you might want to just open that up. What I did is I put up an entire information page at titaniumdeal.com. So if you go there now, I've listed out exactly, well, first of all, I've listed out, there's a link where you can go and do the 1897 right now if you want to be in the first 50. If you know you're coming to Carver, you can do that. But all of your frequently asked questions about the event, about the mastermind, it's all on that page. I've written out the entire thing on that page, so it's all there, titaniumdeal.com. So again, 1897 today, you can come to Carver. Now, there are two catches, and I want to make this very clear. There's always a catch, right? But there are two catches here. Number one is that you book your flight to Cabo now or very soon. Okay, you book your flight to Cabo very soon. And number two, you commit to being in Cabo. This offer is only available if you commit to being in Cabo. Okay, it's only for you if you're coming to Cabo San Lucas in a couple of weeks to the Titanium Mastermind. If you're not, the offer is not for you. If you're not willing to do that, it's not for you. It's only for those of you to help you get to Cabo. So 1897 today, and then all you need to do is take care of whatever the flights are and get to Cabo. Again, guys, this will never be offered. In the future, it will be $9,000 up front that you'll need. But today, for the first 50, 1897. Now, already I can hear this. I can already hear this, and I'm not a mind reader, but this is really, I bet this is on a lot of your minds right now. Some of you right now will be going to Titanium Deal, and you'll be doing this right now. But a lot of you on this webinar now, you'll be thinking, well, look, Matt, those photos look really nice. You know, those photos of the Sheraton Resort, and you know, those activities look fun. I can see myself jet skiing and going on the sunset cruise and so on. But I'm busy. You know, I've got a job. I've got a mortgage. I've got kids. This is 2 weeks away. It's short notice. It's too short of notice. I wish you'd told me about this 2 months ago. So I'm going to tell you something. Yeah, it's short notice. I know it's short notice. It is 2 weeks away. But this is really where your commitment to being an entrepreneur and being a business owner, being in business for yourself, is tested. This is where it's really tested. We have a unique set of circumstances happening right now that will allow you to get positioned at Titanium for $1897 rather than having the full $9,000 investment. A lot of you don't have $9,000 laying around, but most of you, if you want, you can find $1897, and you can find a little bit more for flights to get to Cabo. These are very unique circumstances that will never happen again. I promise you that. I will say that right here to you. This will not happen again. It's short notice. For every 100 people who get into this industry, who start an online business and try and be in business for themselves, a small percentage go on to do big things. Okay, and I'll tell you one of the reasons why. I'll tell you one of the reasons why maybe 3 out of those 100 will go on to doing really big numbers and making a lot of money. It's because those 3 are willing to do things that the other 97 aren't. Let's go back to 2010. I've now been in business for a little bit over 2 years, and to call it a business is a bit of an exaggeration, okay, because really I haven't yet had any results. It's late 2010. I've been working now for almost 2 years, and I've had small little successes, but nothing substantial. And I see a sales letter for an event in Las Vegas. I'm in Perth, Australia. I'm about as far away from Las Vegas on this planet as you could ever be. But I'm reading this sales letter about this mastermind in Las Vegas coming up in a couple of weeks, and I think to myself, that would be really, really awesome to get to. You know, I'm sure that just by the people I meet, you know, the top earners in this company, the speakers, I think that if I went there, I could get whatever I invest in my flight, I could get back several times over. So I had this crazy idea. It's about 11 p.m. at night. Now at that time, I was in a business partnership with this lady in Sydney, okay, who later ended up I'd lent her some money to help her get started. She later ran off with the money, so it didn't end too well. But anyway, putting that aside, I was on good terms with her back then. And I remember calling her on Skype, and we used to talk like every night. We were, very excited about our business. Even though we weren't yet doing big things, we were still excited. And I said to her, Tracy, look at this. Read this. This is in Las Vegas. Do you want to go? Okay, and there was silence for a little while as she considered. And I said, I'm being serious. Do you want to go to this? Now, both of us, we're in Australia again, where it's, $2,000 for a flight to go to Las Vegas. It's a couple of weeks' notice. Well, we both start getting very excited. We think, hey, this is a little bit crazy. This is a little bit spontaneous, but this would be really good for our business. Now, she ended up, she chickened out. Okay, a few days later, she chickened out. She let life get in the way, and now, maybe not because of that, but now she's still struggling to this very day. Financially, she never really did a lot. But I kept my word. I said, look, I'm going to this. I'm going to book a flight right now. Yes, I'm going to pay a little bit more because it's short notice, but I'm going to it. I booked my flight. I've never been to America before. I'd never been to the United States before, and I've never been to Las Vegas before. It was all very new to me. It was very short notice, but I said, look, I'm going. I booked my flight 2 weeks later. I'm landing in Las Vegas, and it was a little bit crazy. It was a little bit like an adventure. That was a key turning point because, you see, that was me announcing to the universe, I am that serious about my business that I'm prepared to travel halfway around the planet for my own education, to better my own chances of success in this industry. I'm ready to do that. You see, that's what the 3 out of 100 are willing to do. The other 97, they're not willing to do that. You know what they say? They say, well, no, I've got kids, it's too short notice, I've got a mortgage, got a job, I'll go next year, blah, 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 yap, yap, yap. Here's the thing, right? If you continually find excuses, okay, that's what they are. Let's be very real. They are excuses. If you continually find excuses, you're not going to get ahead in this industry. I tell you that. And you might think, well, Matt, you're just saying that. Okay, you're just saying that because you want me to go to titanium. Yes, I want you to go to titanium, but I'm talking about something much bigger than titanium. I'm talking about, in general, you and the way you treat your business. Do you treat this like a hobby where you put in maybe 30 minutes a day? Or are you treating this like a real business? Like it's going to be the thing that you're going to be doing for the next 5, 10, 20 years of your life? Are you treating this like the multi-million-dollar business empire it can become if you get this right? Are you treating it seriously enough? And this is really where you're tested. You're sitting there right now listening to me. You're thinking about doing this. You've been offered something tonight that you will never be offered again, $1897. If you say no to this, you will have to come up with $9,000 later on. That's not a scenario of what could happen. That is what will happen. But if you say yes to this, all kinds of wonderful things flow from that. 2 weeks from now, you'll be in Cabo San Lucas. You will meet all the top earners in MOBE. You will make a lot of new friends. Okay, you really will. There will be people who are brand new to MOBE that you will meet, who maybe got started last week. There will be people who are doing over $50,000 a month, like clockwork, month in, month out, in commissions. You'll be able to sit down with them. You'll be on the beaches of Mexico, cocktail in hand, and you'll be able to ask them, look, what are you doing? How are you doing it? You'll be able to hear from legends like Joe Sugarman. I mean, look, getting your photo taken next to half of these speakers and putting that on your site, that is instant credibility right there. I mean, that alone, I used to go to events just for that, just to be able to get my photo taken next to the gurus of the industry. So yes, it's short notice, but think of ways you can do this rather than just say no, okay? Rather than just have the default answer, no, think of ways that you can do this right now. This is where we're going to be. And I want to show you a few more photos. So this is Sheraton Resort, Cabo San Lucas. We'll be sitting out here on the beach, okay? And on the welcome night, this is kind of what it might look like. There'll be fireworks. You'll be having a glass of wine with your new friends that you've just met in MOBE, or you'll be catching up with friends that you've met at other events. This is you sitting poolside. There's lots of pools, and you can see the ocean there in the background. All expenses paid. By the way, this is an all-you-can-eat, all-you-can-drink kind of resort. The food is amazing, but also, look, if you like to have a few drinks, you should just leave your wallet in your room. You don't even need to bring your wallet, because you just go up to the bar. There's a bar in the pool. You swim up to it maybe, and you say, look, I'd like this, I'd like that. There's no money involved at all, because it's all taken care of. I'm covering it. It's all paid for. You bring your spouse, or you bring one of your kids or a friend, whoever you want to bring as your guest, and they're going to be very, very happy to get a phone call from you either later tonight or early tomorrow, and you say to them, hey, guess what? I get a free ticket for you to come to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico in 2 weeks from now. They're going to be pretty happy to hear about that. Or if you're sitting there right now next to your spouse, they can be the one coming. Kids are a little bit extra, but if you want to bring your kids, you definitely can do that too. A lot of people are bringing their kids. Okay, it's got a spa as well. You know, if you want to get there a day early or stay a few extra days and go down to the spa and just get a massage, you can. Last time I was there at this resort, Sheraton, I got something called it's called a chocolate full body massage, and it was really good. So whatever massage you want to get, you can go and do that. Okay, I'm telling you, this place is amazing. You want to be here 2 weeks from now with us. Okay, do not miss this. Now, okay, so you can see it there. It's a very, very classy resort, and really it's more about the company that you'll be in, okay, because you'll be there with all the other Titanium members. Now, deviating a little bit, I've got a question for you, okay, or rather a statement. Did you know that, and most people don't know this, but one of the biggest reasons to get positioned at Titanium is not the fact that you can make $3,000 from your own direct sales. It's the fact that you can make $3,000 commissions from pass-up sales. Who's heard of John Chow? Who knows who John Chow is? In fact, I think he might even be on this webinar. Let me tell you a little story about John, and he might not even know this. About half a week ago, this would have been about 5 days ago, we get a titanium and platinum sale. The phone team is doing their thing. A titanium and platinum sale comes in. So I reach out to my team and I say to my assistant, I say, okay, who got the commission? Who got the $8,000 there? Because it was a 3K and 5K commission, titanium and platinum. And I actually go and have a look myself. Now, the sponsor was a MOBE licensee, but they weren't positioned yet. The sponsor was a guy called Matt Dreyer, or Matt Dreyer. And Matt, if you're on the webinar, I apologize if I got your last name wrong there, but Matt is currently coming first in category 2 for the $50,000 contest. Right now he's in first place for the $7,500 cash prize in category 2. You guys have all seen that, right? He's the guy at the top in category 2, Matt Dreyer of Matt Dreyer. And he was actually the sponsor. But right now, as of that time, he was only positioned as a MOBE licensee. So the $8,000 passed up. It actually passed up. So we then go to his sponsor. And his sponsor was a guy called Ernest, who became a MOBE licensee in December of last year. Now Ernest, guess what? Ernest was only a MOBE licensee as well. So the $8,000 commission passed up to his sponsor, which was John Chow. So John Chow got an $8,000 commission because someone below him, and then someone below that person, and then someone below that person had got positioned. It was completely unexpected, and that's what you call a pass-up. And they happen all the time. In fact, most of the titanium and platinum commissions are pass-ups. Why? Because about 1/3 of MOBE licensees become titanium members. 1/3 to a half. But the other 2/3, they decide, no, I'll just stay a MOBE licensee for now. They go on market, and then one of their buyers steps up, and the commission passes them right away. That's why you need to get positioned. Now, if any of that doesn't make sense, I actually wrote this out in a very clear step-by-step compensation plan guide in a PDF, and I put it at titaniumdeal.com. If you go there right now, you can download that PDF, and I highly, highly recommend you read over that PDF. Okay, it's really important you understand this. But pass-ups, people get $3,000 commission pass-ups because they're titanium all the time. Pass-ups happen all the time. It's one of the biggest reasons why you want to get positioned at titanium. Now, while we're talking here, so you might be thinking, okay, well, look, I'm considering this. This sounds really good. I'd love to be in Cabo San Lucas in a couple of weeks. Where exactly is Cabo San Lucas? Okay, and in case you don't know, yes, it's in Mexico. It's right here. See where it says A? That's where Cabo San Lucas is. You can see Los Angeles up here. So for most of you who are international, you're outside of the United States, like myself. Right now, I'm in Australia. What you will do is you will fly into Los Angeles. Okay, you will fly into Los Angeles. What I'd like you all to do right now, if you can, just open up another tab in your browser. Go to Firefox or whatever browser you're using. Go to Expedia.com and have a look right now, just out of curiosity. How much would it be for you to get a flight from wherever you live, and just type in, I forget what the international code is for Cabo San Lucas. It should be on, if you go to titaniumdeal.com, it should have the airport. And I think one person might have just typed it in. Just give me 1 second. Perfect, here it is. Yeah, the code that you want to type in for the airport is SJC. Okay, SJD, someone else is typing in. SJD. Okay, type in SJD, that's the Cabo San Lucas Airport. And work out what does it actually cost. Now, someone just typed in, Zatonia typed in $3,000 for two, so that's not too bad. $1,500 for a flight. I just paid $3,000 for mine from Australia. So if you're in the States or you're closer to Mexico, it's not too bad. Now, if you have to fly a unique kind of path where it's not really that direct, Expedia isn't always the best choice. Expedia usually is, but if you have to fly for a number of different stops, sometimes Expedia can be a little bit more expensive. So what I do, I found a really good travel agent, which I will be more than happy to recommend to you, who can often get better prices than Expedia. Okay, I've seen $6,000 airfares before turn into $2,500 from this travel agent. If you go to titaniumdeal.com, somewhere on that page I put their information. So feel free to just send them an email and say, what's the best flight you could get from where I am to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, and they'll tell you. Okay, so work that out, because really, I mean, that's about the only thing stopping most of you right now. And the fact that I just reduced it by over $7,500 essentially, or $7,000, this should free up more than enough money to take care of your flight. Again, you can get positioned for $1,897, and that's today, and you can still come to Cabo San Lucas. I mean, look, if you were even just buying a holiday, just going to the resort by yourself, there's not even a chance that you could get into that resort for 4 nights for less than $1,897. But you can, okay? You can if you come to Titanium. So, that main thing holding you back, the fact that, look, I don't have the $9,000 investment for Titanium right now, that is now a non-issue. And for the first 50 of you who are smart enough and committed enough to recognize this for what it is, a once-in-a-lifetime kind of deal, you'll go ahead, you'll take advantage of it, you'll take action now, book your ticket, become Titanium. You can be Titanium 10 minutes from now. You can be positioned as a Titanium Mastermind member 10 minutes from now, so you never pass up another $3,000 commission again. A lot of you guys, you're not even aware that you're passing up $3,000 commissions because they pass right over you. Okay, but I'm telling you, if you have MOBE licensees in your team, a lot of you have passed them up, and there's no real reason to do that. You can now get positioned at Titanium, and those $3,000 commissions go to you. So again, why do you need to do this now? I mean, why not put this off until later? Time is money. Look, you can say, all right, I'll do this next year. You can do that. What does a year of your life cost? You got to think about that. What is a year of your life worth? If you put this off, how much in potential titanium commissions will you pass up? How much will you miss out on? My first 2 years in this industry, that's how I used to act. I once, that company that I invested $38,000 into, their top level mastermind was $15,000. And I paid for that as part of the $38,000. They did that mastermind in Fiji in early 2011, I believe, early 2011. I had the choice of going. I decided, stupidly, that I would go next year. Do you know what happened to that company? They went out of business. They went out of business, and that $15,000 mastermind I paid for, I never got to go to. They went out of business because the founders were, to put it bluntly, they were pretty incompetent. Okay, they weren't marketers. These kind of companies are best run by someone who's a marketer. They understand what you guys, the partners, are going through. But that company went out of business. Now, I'm not too bitter about it, and I'm really not, because look, I had a choice. I had a choice about whether I would go or not, and I had some lame excuse. I thought, just timing and flights, and it was really stupid. And that's why it's part of the reason why my results in the first couple of years were lousy. Okay, because I had a bit of a lousy attitude. My advice to you is don't act like that. Don't think like that. If you want to do well in this industry, the way you act is you do things fast. You're able to make spontaneous decisions. If you know a decision is the best decision to make, you can make it. And sure, the people around you might say, well, no, that's not sensible. It's not sensible to go to Mexico with 2 weeks' notice. But you know what? Most of those sensible people around you, they're working in a job. Yeah, what? They're making $50,000, $100,000 a year at most, got a mortgage, and that's about as good as it's going to get for them. You, on the other hand, you're getting into business, or you've brought into MOBE because you've asked the question, well, why can't I have more? I deserve more. I want more, and I'm capable of more. So that's what I'm going to go after. If that's the case, you need to learn from people who are actually doing this. The people who are going to titanium now, guess what? All the top earners in MOBE are going to be there. And in fact, I'm going to bring out a few on the line in just a second. But they're all going there. Now, do you think, let me ask you this question, do you think that they're going to Carbo because they're a top earner? Or do you think they're a top earner because they're able to make decisions like this, like going to Carbo? That's an interesting question. Now, a lot of people would say, well, yeah, they've got money. Of course they're going to Carbo. Wrong. Okay, that's the wrong response. The reason why they have money in the first place is they are able to make decisions like this. They're able to do it last minute because they know they are fully in control of their own results in life. Okay, their own results. They're prepared to do things last minute because they know, look, this is the best thing for me to do right now. I'm going to do it. And they don't ask for permission. They go and do it. Okay, that's my advice to you. You've got to act like that. You can think of about 10 reasons right now why this is not a good move. In fact, a few of them are probably going through your mind right now. My advice is don't think of reasons why you can't do something. Think of ways you can. That's how entrepreneurs think. That is what separates us from the rest of the population. We solve problems while the rest of the population focus on problems. Be a problem solver. This is simply a small problem. There's a solution here. There's a solution. There's a way that you can do 1897 right now, and you can get to Carbo in 2 weeks. And you need to find that way. It just needs a little bit of thinking. Now, let's meet a few titanium members. What kind of results do people get with this program? I like telling this story. I like talking about John because, John came on board on the tail end of 2012. Shortly after that, he's driving around a $130,000 Mercedes, which MOBE pays for. If you start doing well in MOBE, you get a Mercedes. And by the way, guys, Guess what? When you are titanium, every time you get a titanium sale, you get, I believe it's 3 points. Okay, someone correct me if I'm wrong. I've got to check mobemerc.com. But it means that to get the Mercedes becomes infinitely easier. It becomes much, much, much easier to get the Mercedes. It's part of the reason why, John, he doesn't even have to ever worry about payments for this Mercedes. It's all covered, and it will be for years and years because all the points he's racked up, it's covered. So earlier, and I believe this was March, yeah, this was March, we did a supercharged seminar. John gets a check for $128,000 in commissions. Not too bad, right? A few months later in Chicago, it's now $206,000. Now, John is now approaching close to 300. In fact, he might have even gone over it because I know I've got to send him about $70,000 in commissions on the 15th in a few days. He must be getting very close to $300,000 in commissions. Most of his commissions, if you ask him, they are Mastermind commissions. He makes a lot with the MOBE license rights program, but the vast majority of them are made as a titanium and platinum member. Robbie also got the Mercedes. This is Robbie, Chicago. Gave him a check for $18,000. He got like I said, he got a Mercedes. And really, I want to just break this up and interrupt telling you about these members with one thing, and I call this the fundamental truth. Guess what? Do you know why one of the main reasons I invested that $38,000 in early 2009 was? It was because of this. I knew that when I went and started marketing this company to other people, the fact that I was willing to invest in a high-ticket program made it much, much easier for me to go and recommend to someone else that they do the investment. Think about that for a second. You want to make titanium commissions, right? You want to make $3,000 commissions. So you're going to go out there and you're going to market online. You might write an email to your list, or you might write a blog post. If you can say, and say it completely honestly, that you yourself made the investment and you yourself are a titanium member, and there are people following you, they're on your list or they're reading your blog and they read that, what do you think that does? The fact that you are willing to make that investment, it just makes it much, much, much more likely that they will follow in your footsteps. It really, really does. And you'll be able to use that story. You'll be able to say, well, look, I decided to get positioned for this reason. A lot of the top earners, they're able to use that. You're going to hear from a guy called Mike Morin in a second. I think Mike's on the webinar now. I'll bring him out. Mike came to the Home Business Summit, which was in Long Beach in LA earlier this year. I was talking to him the day after in the hotel lobby, and we were talking about titanium and platinum. And I asked him the question, well, why don't you get positioned right now? Do you know what Mike did? This is a guy who's run million-dollar businesses before, so he's no stranger to success in business. He pulls out a credit card and he says, okay, let's do it. He pays the $9,000 for titanium right there on the spot. 20 minutes later, now I'm talking to him about platinum, and I say, well, Mike, do you want to become platinum? You know what he does? He pulls out his credit card and he invests another $15,000 in platinum right there on the spot. Most people would not do that. But again, you want results in this industry, you got to ignore what most people would do. Mike chose to do that. Now, did he actually get results? Mike came to the Supercharged seminar about 5 weeks later. I don't remember the exact size of his check, but I believe that Mike right now is up to about $25,000 in commissions, somewhere around that. He's consistently getting sales. He had a MOBE license sale last night, I believe. He's had a few titanium and platinums, and that to me, it's awesome to see that. Mike will always be able to tell that story for the rest of his life. That story will become one of his biggest assets in his marketing. He'll be able to say to his list, look, I was sitting right there in the hotel lobby. I made this decision because I knew it was the best decision for me to make. I made it right there on the spot. That inspires a lot of confidence in anyone following Mike Morin right now, because they think, well, look, Mike did it. He's willing to put his money where his mouth is. He's willing to lead by example. So now you have that opportunity, and if you're following Mike, I mean, you just naturally you think, okay, well, Mike is doing this. I'm going to follow Mike. Do you see how that works? That's how this industry works to a large degree. So getting positioned at titanium now for 1897, you'll be able to tell that story. Now, you can leave out the fact that it was 1897, but you can say, look, I was on a webinar. I made the decision that night, right there on the webinar. You can go to titaniumdeal.com, and I went and I just did it. I knew it was the best thing for me and my family, and I went and did it. Now let's meet another member, Carolina Millen. Carolina is from Chile. Like I said, we have people from all over the world. Carolina is titanium, and she had a little bit of resistance. Okay, she definitely had a little bit of resistance, and I spoke to her personally about it. But she decided to go ahead and do it. She has made quite a few titanium and platinum commissions, and she's made also, I think most of them have been pass-ups too, unexpected sales. She's doing very well, and that shiny brand new red Mercedes is also one she got for free as part of MOBE that I paid for, okay, because she gets sales. David Jilks here in Perth, he also got a Mercedes. Again, a little bit of resistance in the beginning. He became titanium. He's had quite a few sales, and he's also now, David has someone on his team who is one of the top producers in Australia, and he gets a percentage of everything they make, all their titanium sales. That's me telling David. I say, David, you're there. You just got a titanium and platinum commission. So when you start getting titanium commissions and making the $3,000 commissions, I will usually reach out to you personally. I like to do it. I like to send you a message on Facebook, or sometimes I'll call you and I'll say, hey, you just got a $3,000 commission. I did that with Raina Lynn. You guys know Raina. I called her and I told her she'd got a titanium and platinum commission, $8,000. And I had to leave that on a voice message. And she put the voice message in one of our Facebook groups. So will you be our next success story? You know, maybe I can be doing this presentation a few months from now, and I'll be telling your story. But it's a lot easier for you to start getting the big numbers in MOBE when you're titanium. Making a $1,000 commission as a MOBE licensee, that's great. But when you start making $3,000 pass-up commissions, that's when it starts to add up pretty quickly. What I want to do, guys, let me have a look. Let me have a look and see who we've got on the line here. Let me see. I want to bring some people off mute and just ask them a little bit about titanium. Let's have a look. And we've gone a little bit longer than I thought, so I might only just do a couple. I can see John. Okay, John, I'm going to take you off mute. If you can just talk into the mic, and 1 second, let me find you again. All right, unmute John Chow. John, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Yeah, so John, I wanted to bring you off mute. You're coming to titanium in a couple of weeks. And for those of you who don't know, John's currently in first spot right now in our $50,000 contest. What would you say to any MOBE licensee on this webinar right now who they're thinking about becoming titanium? They've gone to titaniumdeal.com and they're right on the fence about doing it. They're really thinking about coming to Carbo. What would you say to them?
My recommendation would be, don't look at the cost of something. Instead, look at what is costing you to not do it. And I got a perfect example of that. Like, I have no problem spending money, a lot of money, to go to major events like titanium and like platinum. And because if I don't go to them, I'm not saving that money. It's actually cost me money. And the example is, we met at a mastermind, you and me. And we spent $3,000 to go to this mastermind, and that's how I met you. Now, had I not spent this money, I wouldn't have met you, and I wouldn't be out $3,000. Instead, I'll be out almost $300,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you're like, oh yeah, $9,000 to go to Cabo, or your special right now, 1897, a fantastic deal. But don't look at it as like, if I don't go, I'll see myself 1897. If you don't go, I guarantee you, it's costing you way more than 1897.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. Yeah. So John and I, like you said, we met at a $3,000 event called Think Tank in, I think that was in San Diego.
Yep.
And both of us, from that one connection, I mean, John, you've made a lot of commissions. You got a Mercedes. I've also done very well out of that too. Because I met you at that event, and then I remember reaching out to you. I just sent you an email, and that email pretty much started this whole thing. I mean, you started promoting MOBE, and you started doing very well, and we've been working together ever since. But
Yep.
guys, I mean, if you come to Titanium, there's over 200 other Titanium members there. Some of them are brand new to internet marketing. Some of them have been doing this for years and years. But there's people at all different levels. You're going to meet these people, you're going to form connections, and you'll go home and you'll stay in contact with a lot of them. And you'll be able to do joint ventures down the track with these people. You never know what will come out of one of those connections. You never know. For all you know, it could be hundreds of thousands of dollars. It could be millions of dollars. And sure, it's easy to say, well, yeah, but it's, titanium's 1897, which is nothing, and it's short notice. Like John says, what is the cost of not doing it? That's what you've got to think of. So
Exactly.
that's excellent. So John, yeah, I appreciate that. And I appreciate you coming to Titanium. Anyone who comes to Titanium, make sure you meet John, ask him what he's doing. I'm going to meet you, John, and let's see if we've got anyone else on the line. We'll do just one more, I think. Let me see, who have we got? 1 second. 1 second here. Let's see. See if Mike's on the line. Okay, let me find Mike. No, Terry perhaps. Let me see if Terry's on the line. Okay, there he is. All right, let me take Terry off the line, off mute. Terry, can you hear me okay?
Hey Matt, yeah, how you doing?
I'm really good. Terry, your story, you became Titanium shortly after becoming a MOBE licensee. What's your experience been so far with it?
Well, you better be careful there. That's probably an 8-hour conversation, but the experience is simply success. I mean, just watching. I'm coming to Cabo in a couple weeks. Absolutely, no one's going to stop me from doing that. But just watching you describe it again, it gets my mind spinning and pumped up about Cabo. And all I can think about is racing you down the beach on a couple of those dune buggies. So you better be ready for that. And
Yeah.
the only question is, now if I roll one of these over, who pays for that? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. The connections I've made, I went to the Platinum Mastermind earlier this year, and the connections that I've made, I talk to these people weekly now. Talk to them weekly, and the mastermind that you get just from connecting with these people continually puts me more successful. You talk about Mike Morin. I called Mike today. I brought Mike into the program. I called him today, and we brainstormed about a few things, what we're doing, how we're moving forward. I would have never had those connections had I not met these people in person. So, that is certainly a valuable concept of it all.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And Mike, I mean, that was a great partner to bring on board. Mike's doing really, really well. So Mike's also going to be in Titanium. All right, excellent. Well, guys, let's move on. Terry, thanks for that. I appreciate that. Guys, really, you have a choice right now. You have a choice whether you want to become Titanium or not. Like I said, for the first 50 people, and who knows, maybe 15, 20 people have already taken advantage of this. You can go to titaniumdeal.com and you can get started today for $18.97 and be in Cabo 2 weeks from now. And I want to do a little exercise. I want you to just picture this. Picture in about 2 weeks from now, you, your family, or your guest, you get on a plane. Okay, you get on a plane, you're excited. You're going to Mexico. You arrive in Cabo San Lucas. We pick you up from the airport. We take you to this resort, and as you drive in, you see this big, nice resort, and you know that we've got the entire resort to ourselves. That night, you go to the welcome dinner, and it's perhaps on the beach or around the pool. Tables are set up, the wine is flowing, there's fireworks. You're catching up with people that you either know before or you recognize people from the Facebook groups in MOBE. Over those 3 days, you're learning from some of the best minds in marketing. You're having a lot of fun. Like Terry said, I mean, we can be racing each other in those Baja buggies down the beach. It's going to be amazing. Okay, and you learn so much that you didn't know before because you're learning from people who've literally, I mean, some of these speakers have done hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. They are the best marketers on the planet. That's really what Titanium is about. Titanium is really about marketing, but it's about taking it to a whole new level. It's not like your typical internet marketing event. You know, you hear from the latest internet marketing guru who just had their first big month. It's not like that. You're learning from people who've been around for a long time. They've got results year in, year out, big results, and they've just got a lot of experience, the kind of experience that takes decades to amass. And you're able to sit down one-on-one with one of these people, have a beer with them, have a drink, or just sit down by the side of the pool and ask them, look them right in the eye and say, look, what do I need to do to take my business to the next level? What do I need to do to bring this to $100,000 or $200,000 a month? You're able to come and talk to me. All the top earners in MOBE are going to be there. And they're all very approachable. Okay, I don't want you to come to Cabo and then not approach any of these people. They are very, very approachable and friendly people, and they want to help you. Okay, I'll tell you, every single top earner in MOBE, they're all good people, and it's not like they want to keep these secrets to themselves. They really don't. That's just not the way. There's often a misperception, but it's not really the way it works. They're very open with sharing their results, but they also want to see that you're somewhat committed. If you send them a Facebook message and they don't know you, and you're like, hey, can you help me? Can you show me? Of course, they're not really going to answer you. They're way too busy for that, and they don't know whether you're serious. They get that 100 times a day. But if you show up in Cabo, the fact that you are willing to make that investment in yourself and be there, that lets everyone know that you're pretty serious about your business, and they will be more than happy to help you out, and so will I. I mean, if you want to come and talk to me, I'll be around for the entire mastermind, of course. And I just want to see you do well. At the end of the day, that's really all I want for you. So I've got a question for you. Let's face it, you've been working pretty hard. You've been working pretty hard, and you are long overdue for a holiday. You are, and you're nodding your head up and down right now because I know, and you know, that you need a holiday. Think of this as being like a holiday. It's a time to relax. You will also be challenged a little bit. Okay, don't think it's too much relaxing because you're going to be learning from some of the best minds in marketing. But at the same time, think of it as an all expenses paid holiday for 3 days, 4 nights. Sure, it's easy to put off, but look, you've been putting this off for way too long anyway. So why not come to Cabo in a couple of weeks, give yourself a holiday. All the information you need, guys, dates, speakers, activities. So if you want to see all the activities we're doing, frequently asked questions, go to this domain right now and just leave it up, and you can come back to it later if you don't have time to look at it now, but just get it up anyway so you don't lose it. Go to titaniumdeal.com, and if you know for a fact that you want to be in Titanium and you want to be in Cabo San Lucas, and you want to take advantage of the $18.97 deal that I'm offering for the first 50, there's an order link right there. Okay, it'll be somewhere close to the top of the page. It'll say go here right now. If you want to get started, go and do it right now. Again, most of your everyday people, they wouldn't. Okay, they wouldn't. But if you want to be the 3 out of 100 that go on to have really big results in this industry, you've got to be able to make spontaneous decisions like this. It is spontaneous, it is last minute, but it's also a very special opportunity that you won't ever see again, really. You can either do this now, $18.97, or do it later for $9,000. It's up to you, but look, you want to come to Titanium, I'd love to have you there. It's going to be a lot of fun, so why not? Are you worth the investment? That's really the question. are you worth the investment? Because that's what you're investing in here. You're not investing in me. You're not investing in MOBE. You're investing in yourself. This is your education. That's really what it is. You come to Titanium, it's all about your education. It's about nothing else besides you. Okay? titaniumdeal.com. Now, what I might do, guys, if you have any questions at all, you can go ahead and type them in. Okay, so any questions whatsoever, go ahead and type them in. And we've got literally hundreds of questions that are built up. So what I might do, rather than try and see what's recent and what's not, just type them in again if you can. Okay, just type them in again. Okay, very good question. This is very important. So Robert is asking, for two people, is it 1897 times 2? Robert, so no, it's not. It's not. Okay, so Titanium, what I'm offering you tonight, if you commit to coming to Carbo, you can become Titanium tonight for $18.97, and you'll be on a 6-month installment plan, $18.97. And by the way, guys, if you start getting lots of Titanium commissions and you'd like to pay that off quicker, okay, you can actually apply those commissions towards your balance, and we'll also remove any interest as well. Do you see how that works? We'll remove any interest if you want to pay it off faster. You can do that. It's completely up to you. But Robert, to answer your question, that includes 2. You can bring 2 people to Carbo for $18.97. Now, let's think about that for a second. Per person, what does that work out to be? That's $950. Who's ever heard of a holiday to Mexico, all expenses paid, 3 days, 4 nights, for $950? I've never heard of that. You've never heard of that, but that's what I'm offering right here. So if you bring a guest, $18.97, that's all you do tonight. Bring your guest and you're both covered. Okay, and then I'm going to trust that you're going to honor the rest of the installment plan. But look, I mean, you can start marketing MOBE right after as a Titanium member. And I mean, really, it's just a few $3,000 commissions. Okay, any more questions? Oh, quite a few. All right, they're coming in. Let me see. Thank you, thank you. All right, Robert, that's excellent. Okay. Okay. Does the guest have their own route? So Peter, the guest is actually sharing a room with you. That's why if you have a spouse or one of your kids, they're usually the first person to bring. However, if you want to bring someone else, you can always get an extra bed in the room, and the rooms are quite spacious as well. Okay, so both of you'd be in the same room. They're very, very nice rooms as well. Okay, good. I mean, a good question here. A question here from Robert. In your book, you talk about market saturation. What measures are you taking to prevent this from happening? Adam, here's my answer to that. This industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. I mean, there are companies in this niche that are worth over $1 billion. Right now, with what MOBE is doing in terms of our members and our revenue, we are a drop in an ocean. That's what we are. Right now, in terms of size and in terms of the entire market, we're a drop in the ocean. So I'm not even thinking about market saturation right now. It's not even entering in my mind. I don't see this slowing down one bit in the next 20 years at all. You've got to understand the home business industry, it is constantly replenishing. How do people get into this industry? Ask yourself that question. How do people get into this industry? Usually, they go and get a job. They decide they don't want to be working for a boss. They want to be their own boss. They want to become an entrepreneur. They go to the internet. They type in something like make money online, and that is their entry into this industry. That's how a lot of us get into this industry. The question that you need to ask is, do you think that people are going to stop doing that into the future? The answer is, of course they're not. Okay, there will always be, as the population ages, there will always be more and more people who go into Google and type in that search. I myself did it when I was 21 or 22. That one innocent search typed into Google led me down this path to where I am today. There will always be more people doing that, so I don't even worry about that one bit. Excellent. Okay, Lynn Haynes, excellent. Okay, that'll be great. Lynn Haynes has said, awesome, you just answered my question about the 6 months and paying it off sooner. Okay, so again, guys, if you want to do it faster than 6 months, we will happily remove any interest. We have no problem with doing that. So Lynn has said she's in. Excellent. Chris, send me a message on Facebook. I don't get emails, Chris. So my support team check my email account. Message me on Facebook. Okay, a question here from Jose. Do you have to be a regular licensee to get titanium? Yes, you need to be a MOBE licensee. Okay, you need to be a MOBE licensee first. If you're not a MOBE licensee, but you would still like to do this, you can become a MOBE licensee for $597 on the 4-month installment plan. Okay, so the MOBE license program, it actually does have an installment plan of 4 months. Okay, or you can do it up front and save yourself about $400. Okay, but yes, you'd simply become a MOBE licensee and then go to titaniumdeal.com and get started. Let me actually just go down to that slide as well so you can see that. So again, guys, titaniumdeal.com. It's all there. Question here from Daniel. All right, very good question. Can we bring more than 2 people? Is it all expenses paid for food and more people or kids? So Daniel, the way it works is the ticket is all expenses paid for 2 people. If you want to bring kids, they're a little bit extra, but it's only a little bit. I don't have the exact amount now, but you can email. If you go to titaniumdeal.com, after you get your spot, there's an email address where you can contact my event planner, and you would just email them and say, how much is it to bring my kids? It's not much. I mean, a lot of the people coming are bringing kids. It's really not much. Okay, it really isn't. It's all expenses paid for food, drinks, entertainment, everything for 2 people. Okay, so that means your guest, if they want to come on the jet skis or the Baja buggies or the Polaris Razors, or they want to go zip lining with you, they can. Okay, it's all paid for. It's not like you show up and there's a hidden cost there. There's really not. You show up, everything's taken care of. If you want to bring a few extra people, absolutely you can. Oh, good question. Question here from Wong. What's the grand prize for the video contest? So, guys, what we will do, if you bring a video camera, on the last night, we will do like a little contest where we'll pick the top 3 or 5 videos. It's like a video testimonial of your experience in carbo, and the crowd will choose the best one, and you'll win a prize. I haven't actually decided on the final prize. It will likely be cash, you know, a laptop, something along those lines. I'll make it good. I'll decide on that shortly, though. Adam's going to be there. Excellent. Great. Okay, someone typed in extra 95. Yeah, so if you want to stay extra nights, I believe it's $169 per night. Okay, if it's just you in the room. Okay, $169 per night per adult. Something like that. So if you want to stay a few extra nights, you can. You absolutely can. All right, so guys, I think that's about it. So I want to thank you for staying on until the end of this webinar. I told you I was going to offer something that will never be offered again, and I want to reiterate, I'm being serious about that. After these 50 spots are gone, and we fill up that resort, okay, which we will do, make no mistake about it, we have about 1,800 MOBE licensees right now, growing very quickly. There's a lot of you who aren't in the MOBE license rights program. You've been on the fence about becoming titanium for a long time, and for a lot of you, this is exactly what you were waiting for. Okay, you were waiting to become for some way to become titanium without having to have the full $9,000 up front. So this is now on the table. $1,897. It's available, but it's only available for the first 50. If you are thinking about this and you know you should, my advice is go ahead and do it. Why not? Okay, why not? Why not come to Cabo San Lucas in 2 weeks, give yourself a holiday, bring a guest, show them the time of their life. They'll love it, and they'll really be happy with you for inviting them. Have a lot of fun and also learn a lot. This is, you know, just to finish up here, as you're building your business, you're going to reach ceilings along the way. Okay, I'm telling you, like making your first, getting to a point where you're getting steady cash flow from your business, a lot of us will reach a ceiling in getting to that level. Once you get to that level, getting to 10,000 a month or 20,000 a month or 50,000 a month, as you continue to scale up and you get these higher and higher results, you constantly hit ceilings. A lot of you right now, you're at that first ceiling. You're not getting steady commissions month in, month out yet, but you are close. You are much, much closer than you think. And I can say that with my own experience of having gone through what most of you are going through right now. You're trying really hard to do well in this industry, and you're putting in the work, you're putting in the time. A lot of you are extremely close. Often it's just a matter of a slight little change of course, a small turning point, and that one little thing that happens, that one little turning point, can be the one thing that gets you through that ceiling. For me, that was late 2011, and something happened, a few small events that triggered my first 7,000 month and then 15,000 month, and it just kept going up and up. You're much closer than you think, and this, I believe that this will be the turning point for you. You'll come to Titanium, you'll always be able to tell this story. You'll be able to say to any MOBE licensee who joins your team, you'll say, look, you should be in Titanium. And they'll say, well, yeah, but what about this? What about that? And you'll be able to say, look, just cut that out. Here's the thing. I was where you were at one point in time. I was sitting on a webinar, hearing Matt explain why I needed to go Titanium, and I made a split-second decision to get positioned as Titanium, and 2 weeks later to be in Mexico. And now look at where I am. When you can tell that story, that becomes the most powerful story in your marketing arsenal. Okay, it really does. When you can tell that story and the fact that you are willing to get positioned, that is worth its weight in gold. That's why you need to take advantage of this. Go to titaniumdeal.com. Come and hang out in Cabo San Lucas in a couple of weeks. I look forward to meeting you. Make sure you come and see me. Okay, come and meet me at the back of the room. I'd love to meet you. I'd love to meet your guest. I want to see you all there. And really, guys, I just want to see you do well in MOBE. I'm very optimistic about our future. Again, we launched Titanium in Platinum, less than a year ago, and we are just growing at such a rate. I want to keep us growing. I think there's huge potential for all of us, and I think we've barely scratched the surface. And I think that we just have a wonderful future here, and I want you to be a part of it. I want you to be in Cabo with us in a couple of weeks. So I hope to see you there. Again, I want to thank you for staying on until the end of this webinar. If you have any questions, you can post them in the Facebook group. And guys, I just really appreciate you all. All right, guys, thanks a lot, and I'll see you in Cabo. Bye for now.